Okay, so first of all, what we need to look at is, let's say I have an equation like this, 3x plus y equals 6. Can I even put that in my calculator in the first place? No, I cannot. Here's how to get it that to a point where I can. I subtract 3x from both sides, which gives me y equals negative 3x plus 6. Does everybody agree with that? Good. Secondly, I want you to do this one on your own. 2x minus 2y equals 4. Please solve that one for y on your own. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to subtract 2x from both sides. And we have negative 2y equals negative 2x plus 4. After that, what I'm going to do, I'm going to divide by negative 2 everywhere. We have y equals, these actually get rid of each other. We have x. Then we have 4 divided by negative 2, which actually gives me back negative 2. So I have these two equations here. I have this one that's in purple. I have this one that is in blue. Does everybody agree with that? Okay. So what I'm going to do, instead of using the calculator, I know that this one comes out nicely. I'm going to show you what the calculator actually does for you. I'm sure you don't actually care what the calculator does for you. You just want to know how to do it. But if your calculator dies, you have to know how to do it. So what we're going to do, we're going to go down 2. And from there, we're going to go up 1 to the right 1. Like this. Secondly, for the blue one, we're going to go, I don't want it purple, I'll do it in green. We go up 6, and from there we go down 3 to the right 1. See, this is one of the big reasons why I've been making you all do 2 spots or 3 spots, because look, you see that this one actually hits right on top of the other one, right? At a very specific point. 2, 0. So that is where they intersect. Okay? So that wasn't too bad, right? The problem is, why do we want to use our calculator to do it? Because it gives you the answer faster. Okay? Let's face it. It's faster. There's one big reason why we want our calculator to do it and not by us. Why? Because you screw up and you don't draw straight. Right? Did I just draw straight? No. Did you all? Probably didn't even draw it. Okay. Secondly, what happens if I would have ended up with a point like right here? Do I know what that is? No, I'm going to estimate. Does my calculator know what that is? Yes, it knows exactly what it is, which is a lot better for us. Okay, so let's look at what we need. All right, so here we have y equals 3x plus 6, which is a little bit different than what we just had. We had negative 3x plus 6. And then I'm going to have another equation, 2x plus 3y equals 8. What I'm going to do here, I'm going to subtract 2x from both sides, which gives you 3y equals negative 2x plus 8. from there, I'm going to divide 3 everywhere. You have y equals negative 2/3 x plus 8/3. All right, now look. This has 2/3 in it, and it has 8/3 in it. So more than likely, what is our answer going to come out to be? Some sort of weird fraction, right? It's not very likely that these two things run into each other at a whole number. Does everybody agree with that? So what we're going to do instead is put it in our calculator. So here's what you do to put it in your calculator. You go to the y equals button. Make sure all your plots across the top are turned off. None of them should be highlighted. That's what I mean by that. If they're highlighted, you need to hit up and hit enter on them to turn them off. This is what it looks like when they're turned on. So then what we're going to do, we're going to type in our equations. That's why I had an easy one first. 3x plus 6. Secondly, we have negative 2/3 x plus 8/3. So we just type those two in. Everybody following me so far? How many of y'all remember how to do it from last year anyway? Okay, good. We hit graph. How many of yours do not look like mine? Okay, so here's what we want to do to fix that. You only have to do this once. You hit window, you hit zoom, go down to number 6, which is standard. And that changes it to 10 in every direction. And that's what, I just want you to leave it like this for right now because that's what your homework is going to be. Yeah? Okay. So you hit second, and then it's the button next to trace, or button next to graph, which is trace. Brings this menu up. Number 5 is intersection. You can just hit 5 there. It asks you for the first line, you hit enter. Asks you for the second line, you hit enter. Asks you to guess, you hit enter one more time. And it tells you this crazy intersection that you would have never, ever estimated yourself. And listen, I want to make this as clear as I can because people last year did not understand this. See how it says the word intersection right here? If it does not say intersection, it is not the intersection. Does everybody understand that? So, again, if it does not say intersection right here, you are not guaranteed that it is the intersection. If it says anything else, it's probably wrong. Okay, so the intersection here is negative 0.90 repeating. Is it negative? Yeah. And then 3.27 repeating, with a 27 repeating. That is the intersection. So, is that a lot easier than trying to graph it and do it by hand? Would we have gotten the right answer if we did it by hand? No chance. No offense. Not being disrespectful of your estimating skills, but your estimating skills are terrible. That's why some of you said that I am 35 years old. Okay. So, I want you to do this one on your own, please. 4y plus 6x equals 10. And 5x minus 10 equals 5y. So please find the intersection of these two lines on your own. Firstly, we subtract 6x from both sides, and we get 4y equals negative 6x plus 10. You might have a little bit of trouble with that part of it. Here you divide by 4 everywhere. You get that y equals negative 3 halves x plus 5 halves. Here, it looks like you have a lot more work to do than you really do, but all you have to do is divide by 5 everywhere. And you get that x minus 2 equals y. So that's why you should have gotten done relatively quickly, but you might have not known that you could do that. Does it matter what? No, it still gives you the same answer, but if you don't reduce, you end up typing more. Maybe. All right, so here we get negative 3 halves x plus 5 halves. Again, remember that please put fractions in parentheses if you want to get everything correct on the calculator. You can graph it. You hit second, trace, find and number 5, which is the intersection. Ask you for the first line. Ask you for the second line. Ask you to guess. And the intersection is at 1.8 and negative 0.2, not negative 2. That was one of the biggest mistakes that people made last year when they did these things. You have to read what's there. The point is very, very, very small. Makes a big difference. Okay, one thing that the ACT and the SAT love to do is to give you a question like this and then give you the answer only in fractions. So does anybody remember how to get this to a fraction? Okay, so you can put it in your calculator, 1.8. You go to math and you go to fraction, and this is 9/5. This is negative 1/5. It's math fraction. Okay, I'm going to have you try one more on your own. Once we are done with that one, we are done. Shh. Oops, I wrote that wrong, sorry. 6y minus 3x plus 18 equals 0. 2x plus 5y equals 15. So let's try these two. After this, we are finished. So here's what you do with the first problem. You add 3x to both sides first, which gives you 6y plus 18 equals 3x. Then you subtract 18 from both sides, which gives you 6y equals 3x minus 18. You could have actually done that in the opposite order, but it doesn't really matter which order you do it in. I think it's easier to do it like this, just out of personal preference. You divide everything by 6, which gives you 1/2 x minus 3. And that's your equation that you're going to put in your calculator. Here you subtract 2x everywhere. Gives you 5y equals negative 2x plus 15. Divide 5 everywhere, and you get y equals negative 2 over 5x plus 3. After that, you just put these two equations in your calculator. Let me get it out of the way over here. So 1/2 x minus 3 and negative 2 over 5 x plus 3. Oops, plus sign to pop up. Plus 3. You graph it, you can see that one goes up as it goes to the right, one goes down. I must type something in wrong. No, that's right. No. We go to second, calculate the intersection. Ask you for the first line. Ask you for the second line. Ask you to guess. Tells you that 6.6 repeating and 0.3 repeating. So, will your calculator actually turn repeating decimals into fractions? The answer is yes. like this. 6.6 over and over and over again. Just like a ridiculous amount of them. And then you hit fraction like we normally do, and it tells you that's 20 over 3. Because once it gets to a certain time, it recognizes that you're trying to tell it that it's repeating. And I hope you know that 0.3 repeating is 1/3. No. What? Just whichever. All right. Any other questions? Good. Here's your homework.